I do not get this. The two things that confuse me most. I read a brilliant article about it this weekend. You know that I'm eternally baffled by deference and forelock tugging. The idea that anybody in this country with an IQ in double figures could think that Jacob Rees-Mogg is cleverer than them is just absolutely hilarious to me, and also heartbreaking at the same time, because you are limiting your own horizons. You're putting shackles on your own children, their ambition and their aspiration. The idea that you should know your place is the single most toxic lesson that you can teach a child. And I'll tell you this, that they don't teach their children to know their place. And the second thing is this desire to feel persecuted, this absolute hunger for victimhood. Look, there's some people over there and they're attacking you. What are they doing? Oh, they're running the European Union like the Fourth Reich and they really wish you harm. Okay. Any proof? No. Don't ask for facts. Just feel persecuted. And now it's statues. They're coming to take down your statues. They're going to attack your culture and your stately homes. How are they going to do that? By telling you about things that actually happened. Well, we can't have any. I'll clutch my purse. And they sell it. They sell you your own victimhood. And I don't know. I wish I could turn my conscience off and do it, because my kids need shoes. But especially now they're going back to school. Hallelujah. Long may that continue. Safely. But it works. I don't understand why people hand over their hard-earned cash and indeed their consciences so happily and so freely to people who are selling nothing but false victimhood and false persecution. Best summed up probably in that despicable poster that Nigel Farage unveiled shortly before Joe Cox was assassinated by a white supremacist terrorist shouting Britain first. That man was terrified of things that don't exist. Things that were, in fact, depicted, non-existent things depicted on that poster. All these people that wish you harm. Where are they? Oh, I found one. And that means we must hate 6 million people. Okay. Why so hungry? Why so desperate? And listen, generalizations are always a little bit loose. Of course they are. I remember a fella not long ago was furious with me for suggesting that everybody who had a problem with Marcus Rashford had voted for Brexit, which clearly isn't true. There'll be plenty of people out there. I'm bored of Brexit in some context. I'm bored of having to say, some of my best friends voted for it, some of my family members voted for it, and they aren't racists. But I haven't met a racist who didn't. Maybe I should get out more. But you just look at the generalizations here, and you can be fairly confident that people who think that their culture is somehow under attack, or people who think you're not allowed to say your English in this country anymore without getting arrested, people who are trying to build political careers on campaigning to be allowed to say things that they're currently not allowed to say, despite not having yet addressed the question of how they're going to tell you about the things they're not allowed to say if they're currently not allowed to say the things that they're campaigning to suddenly be allowed to say. I'm fairly confident that almost all of them will fit very neatly into one side of the Meghan Markle conversation. They'll have a huge problem with her and they won't really be able to tell you why. But if you suggest you know why, they'll be almost as angry with you for pointing out their racism as they are with her for being biracial.
The curious phenomenon surrounding Meghan Markle's public perception reveals a fascinating psychological pattern where criticism often stems from nebulous, ill-defined sentiments rather than concrete grievances. Many individuals who express disdain for the Duchess of Sussex struggle to articulate specific reasons beyond vague, emotionally charged generalizations that crumble under even minimal scrutiny. This suggests a deeper, more complex dynamic at play, where personal biases, media narratives, and underlying societal tensions converge to create a reflexive antipathy that says more about the critics than about Markle herself. The inability to provide substantive, rational explanations for their dislike points to a form of prejudice that is simultaneously subtle and systemic, rooted in complex intersections of race, class, and traditional royal expectations that Meghan fundamentally challenged by her very presence in the British royal family. The rise of Meghan Markle, a royal journey of transformation. Before stepping into the global spotlight as a member of the British royal family, Meghan Markle was a talented actress with a promising career in Hollywood. Her acting credentials, most notably her role in the legal drama Suits where she portrayed Rachel Zane, established her as a recognizable face in the entertainment industry. Her life took a dramatic turn when she met and fell in love with Prince Harry, a union that would ultimately transform her from a successful actress to the Duchess of Sussex. Their marriage in 2018 was a groundbreaking moment, blending modern celebrity culture with centuries-old royal traditions and positioning Meghan as a progressive mixed-race woman at the heart of the British monarchy, a position that would challenge long-standing institutional norms and provoke significant public discourse about race, privilege, and royal expectations. The Meghan Markle media storm unraveling public perception. Despite her relatively brief tenure within the British royal family, Meghan Markle rapidly became a lightning rod for unprecedented criticism, facing accusations of being difficult that seemed to transcend normal royal protocol. Media narratives consistently portrayed her as a disruptive force, painting her as challenging and unconventional compared to traditional royal expectations, with anonymous palace sources frequently suggesting she was hard to work with and didn't understand royal etiquette. Her fashion choices, which deviated from classic royal dress codes, became another focal point of scrutiny, with commentators and royal watchers dissecting every outfit as potential evidence of her perceived outsider status. Perhaps most significantly, she was widely blamed for creating tensions within the royal family, particularly in her relationship with Prince William and King Charles, with many believing her outspokenness and desire for independence fundamentally challenged the monarchy's long-established institutional dynamics. These criticisms often seem to carry undertones of racial and cultural prejudice, revealing more about societal biases than about Meghan herself. The media's misguided Meghan Markle narrative, a critical examination. James O'Brien, a prominent journalist and radio host, has consistently challenged the mainstream narrative surrounding Meghan Markle with a razor-sharp analysis that cuts through the layers of media bias and public misconception. Drawing from his extensive experience in media commentary, O'Brien argues that the widespread criticism directed at the Duchess of Sussex fundamentally stems from a profound misunderstanding of her lived experiences. He contends that her critics predominantly operate from a place of ignorance, failing to comprehend the complex intersectional challenges she faces as a biracial woman navigating the deeply entrenched traditions of the British royal family. O'Brien's perspective is not merely a defense, but a nuanced critique of the systemic prejudices that have continuously attempted to marginalize and delegitimize Meghan's narrative, suggesting that those most vocal in their condemnation are often the least equipped to understand the profound personal and cultural dynamics at play in her remarkable journey. The royal media circus, Meghan Markle's unrelenting media ordeal. The media's treatment of Meghan Markle represents a disturbing microcosm of systemic bias, where racist and sexist narratives have been weaponized with unprecedented ferocity. Unlike her royal predecessors, who were often granted measured sympathy or diplomatic coverage, Meghan faced a relentless barrage of scrutiny that went far beyond standard royal reporting. The undertones of racial prejudice were thinly veiled, with commentators and tabloids alike dissecting her every move through a lens of otherness, repeatedly contrasting her with the traditionally white aristocratic image of the British royal family. From criticizing her American background to questioning her suitability for royal life, the media constructed a narrative that was simultaneously xenophobic and misogynistic, revealing more about the institutional biases of British media culture than about Meghan herself. Meghan Markle, a champion of social change and compassion. Meghan's philanthropic journey extends far beyond the glittering world of royal life, embodying a deeply personal commitment to social transformation. Her advocacy for women's empowerment resonates with a genuine passion that transforms rhetoric into meaningful action. Drawing from her own experiences of navigating complex professional and personal landscapes, through her mental health awareness initiatives, she has courageously destigmatized conversations around emotional well-being, encouraging individuals to seek support and embrace vulnerability as a strength rather than a weakness. Her support of diverse social causes reflects a holistic approach to humanitarian work, seamlessly blending her platform's visibility with substantive efforts to create tangible change. From supporting gender equality to championing marginalized communities, Meghan demonstrates that true activism is not about grand gestures, but consistent, heartfelt engagement that amplifies voices often left unheard. The royal rift: Meghan Markle's journey beyond palace walls. Meghan's integration into the British royal family was anything but smooth, marked by a complex tapestry of cultural misunderstandings, institutional rigidity, and personal struggles. From the moment she entered the closely guarded royal ecosystem, she faced unprecedented challenges that tested the centuries-old protocols and unspoken hierarchies. The tension with other family members, particularly with William and Kate, and the underlying friction with palace courtiers, became increasingly apparent, exposing deep-seated dynamics of race, class, and modern expectations versus traditional royal constraints. Her deeply personal desire for privacy and individual agency stood in stark contrast to the royal institution's historically controlled narrative, ultimately leading to a dramatic rupture that would redefine her and Harry's relationship with the monarchy. The couple's decision to step back from royal duties was not just a personal choice, but a powerful statement of independence, challenging long-established power structures and demanding recognition of their individual identities beyond their royal titles. Meghan Markle, breaking barriers and challenging royal norms. Growing up biracial, Meghan experienced the complex tapestry of racial identity long before her royal journey, encountering subtle and overt forms of discrimination that shaped her understanding of belonging. Her experiences navigating cultural differences became a profound personal narrative of resilience, where she learned to embrace her mixed heritage as a source of strength rather than division. The challenges she faced, ranging from microaggressions to more systemic prejudices, ultimately crystallized her commitment to representation and inclusion, recognizing that her visibility could serve as a powerful catalyst for broader societal conversations about race, identity, and acceptance. Through her personal struggles, Meghan transformed potential wounds into opportunities for meaningful dialogue, using her platform to highlight the importance of understanding and celebrating diverse cultural backgrounds, and demonstrating that one's identity is not a limitation, but a rich, multifaceted narrative of personal empowerment. The royal transformation: Meghan Markle's unprecedented influence on the British monarchy. Meghan Markle's arrival within the royal institution represented far more than a mere marriage. She became a catalyst for fundamental institutional transformation. By challenging centuries-old protocols and introducing contemporary perspectives, she confronted traditional monarchical norms with a boldness rarely seen before. Her mixed-race heritage, professional background, and American sensibilities provided a fresh lens through which the centuries-old institution could reimagine itself, pushing beyond its historically rigid and predominantly white, aristocratic framework. Where previous generations of royal spouses might have passively assimilated, Meghan actively sought to modernize, bringing conversations about diversity, mental health, and social justice directly into the royal discourse. Her approach was not about dismantling tradition, but respectfully evolving it, demonstrating that institutional change could be both graceful and substantive, ultimately making the monarchy more reflective of a multicultural, progressive 21st century society. The royal conflict: understanding Meghan Markle's complex journey. In reflecting on Meghan Markle's tumultuous experience within the British royal family, it becomes paramount that we approach her narrative with profound empathy and nuanced understanding. Her story transcends mere tabloid sensationalism, revealing a deeply intricate human experience of navigating cultural expectations, institutional pressures, and personal identity. While public opinion often seeks simplistic narratives of blame or innocence, the reality is far more layered, involving systemic racism, media manipulation, and the profound challenges of integrating into a centuries-old institution with rigid, unspoken rules. By recognizing the complexity of her situation, we invite a more compassionate dialogue that moves beyond knee-jerk judgments and towards genuine comprehension of individual struggles within powerful, traditional structures. The need for open-mindedness is not just about Meghan's personal journey, but about our collective ability to listen, understand, and grow beyond our preconceived notions.